Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the nature of a democracy, being both procedural and substantive, is a government by the people, for the people, and of the people. At its core, this represents choice, and inasmuch as bad things may happen, with poor people coming into power and you getting stuck with individuals you want to be able to remove, this becomes the best and most effective way for people to be able to reclaim their vote and exercise their right and participation in that democracy. Inasmuch as you put those people in power, you have a principled claim and a pragmatic ability through this referenda to be able to remove them. At best, we particularly think that, absent this particular direct referenda, people can recluse into apathy, end up complaining and doing nothing, or even having to be forced to wait years for the next electoral cycle, hoping and praying that an opposition party who potentially can win will be able to come in, and hoping that that better candidate has a shot, or else we get stuck with shit like Donald Trump season 2 with what we're experiencing in status quo. I think someone raised their hand. I think the judge is here. It's just been a minute. I don't mind to restart so that we can have a round. Is it fine?
No, I was asking a POI.
Oh, I thought that was the judge. Okay. Sorry, I got a bit distracted. I thought it was a judge. Am I allowed to restart, or is it not allowed?
No, I don't think you can restart.
Okay.
I stopped at 1:30, so you can just start from there.
All right, thanks, man. Cool. So, a few things in this debate. Firstly, this is a policy debate, and let's examine status quo in terms of how it works. In majority of cases, you have the upper house being Senate and the lower house or the Congress representing the legislative branch. They then are able to do the rules and procedures to be able to bring that towards the judicial system. The problem in status quo is that when the judicial system is at the mercy of being able to go through all of that discourse, a lot of politicking can potentially happen. It takes particularly long, there's a lot of drama, there can be many kinds of deadlocks in terms of those interactions. Introducing the national referenda, what changes on our side? A few things. Number one, we're going to retain the formal structures, meaning the legislative branch, Senate, and the lower house can still be the one to be able to forward and gather particular evidence. We think that they can still be the ones to be able to determine the articles of impeachment. After that, they can then bring it to an independent constitutional panel formed representing the judicial system. Oftentimes, this is particularly formed by Supreme Court judges, etc. Thirdly, we're going to be able to arbitrate the referenda through most popular vote, meaning similar to how any democratic vote works, whoever is able to be the majority from that people and voting base who did vote are going to be chosen. TLDR, the legislative branch, are going to be the ones who are doing the case building and then the debate, and then the people are going to be the adj to be able to determine. I'll take the POI. Go.
What do you think the timeline for this is? So basically, the debate happens for a couple of months and then people decide.
We think that it can be proportional to the severity of the thing. Like if it's very contentious, then we're very much willing for them to have more time in terms of exercising. But in instances where it has to be done for a particularly harmful kind of thing that we have to remove them, we're very much willing to be able to have a fair amount of transitionary period for these things to happen. Now, what exactly happens in the status quo? In many instances, like the top dogs, president, prime minister, whoever, the people in the executive branch don't want to be removed for obvious reasons. That is why right now in America, Donald Trump wants to be able to control the next congressional panel to be able to forward a Republican candidate to be able to forward their particular slate. This in and of itself is problematic because it creates somewhat a conflict of interest between the executive body and that legislative branch who's able to forward these discussions, and in some extreme cases, even all the way up to the judicial branch. How exactly is this bound up in power, and why is the comparative better? It is because these particular people, who are in many instances political elites, they have a lot of network and money to directly be able to like buy people out or intimidate particular individual when they prop up certain cronies, for instance, and can even use mechanisms of gerrymandering to be able to try and arbitrate and sway things towards their side. Sure, on the comparative, the similar to like how we vote them in, shit can still happen. We're not crazy to say that there won't be some sort of vote buying, etc. Those things can do happen, but at least the average person, as part of that democracy, is literally able to participate through and through. Because people can make shitty decisions. In fact, most developing nations, like in the Philippines with the Dutertes or the Marcoses, make them all the time. But in order to be able to forward this claim of being able to be fully accountable and not give them the leeway to necessarily wash their hands clean and just be able to say, it's because of the poor, it's because of those guys. Those very people have stake and claim once they experience bad things from those trash leaders they put in to be able to reclaim that. Second thing, why specifically through a referenda? This is the most representative and pluralistic way for particular people to be involved. Absent this specific policy mechanism, people are just going to potentially recluse into apathy, not give a shit, maybe try to be like, yo, how can I take a master's or study abroad and try to flight? People tend to lose hope when they don't have a way to be able to correct that wrong, and we think it leads to a certain sense of detachment. We think, in some instances, people can even become violent. There can be coups, there can be rebellions, there can be upright civil disobedience and even mass unrest that can lead to the things we see like in the Philippines, things that we see in Thailand. Ultimately, this becomes a less bloody way in terms of being able to remove these particular people in power, and in the same way we choose who goes there, we need every principled and practical way to be able to get them out, and we think that a referenda is the way to go because it's of the people, by the people, and for the people. And with all of that, we are very proud to open and stand on side proposition.